Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and I'm here to tell you about the first week of May 1st through the 7th. I'm here right in front of my computer, and I'm going to be telling you about where the planets are, what they're going to be affecting, and most of all, how you can use this energy in your daily life. So looking at this, remember that I'm doing this for Central Standard Time. You'll have to do the adjustments for all the different locations you're at. Now, the aspects happen all at the same time, but it's a different time where everyone is. And I know if you're like in a place like Australia, which I have a lot of students, you're actually a whole day ahead. So if you can do the conversion for Central Standard Time to where you are, you'll understand. But for the most part, this will give you the predictions of what to expect for an entire day, because the only planet that moves really fast is the moon. It moves 1 degree every 2.5 hours. So that the other planets will remain about the same degree all day long. So let's talk about Wednesday, May 1st. And May 1st, we have the moon in Capricorn. And it is in the nakshatra Shravana today. Shravana is the listener. It deals with the ears. And that's a symbol for Shravana. Actually, those who hear, they're great listeners. So today's a day that we should listen more. Pay attention to what other people are saying. Now, the other thing that's happening on May 1st is gigantic. What is it? Jupiter enters into Taurus today, where it's going to remain for over a year, from May 1st of 2024 till May 14th of 2025. This is a huge, big deal. Another thing that's going on today is Venus is in a square aspect to Pluto. So what that tells me is when it comes to relationships and matters of the heart, please take caution, because when Venus is square into Pluto, it can deal with issues around betrayal, feeling hurt, or where people aren't completely honest with you in relationships. So this is something that you have to be cautious of and be aware of your own actions. So today is a great day, most of all for listening, as the moon is in Capricorn and in the nakshatra Shravana. So now we're going to look at May 2nd. The moon has arrived into Aquarius earlier in the day. And looking at this, it's like really way early in the day, it goes into Aquarius. And for the most part, the moon will be in the nakshatra Shatabhishak. That nakshatra deals with the 100 healers. So this is a day of deep introspection and looking into your soul for the essence of healing. And most of all, I love the fact that Shatabhishak is the nakshatra that deals with the sky watcher. So you're going to find people who are more interested in astrology, astronomy, what's happening out in space. This is important to this nakshatra. Now, the moon today is approaching Saturn. It won't be there yet, but there's a seriousness, that a heaviness that we're going to be feeling today. And today is the day that Pluto actually turns retrograde. It's at 7 degrees of Capricorn, but it's going to turn retrograde. And therefore, when a planet turns retrograde on that day, it's heavy. It means that planet is intensely empowered, and Pluto deals with major changes, transformational changes. It deals with a lot of difficult changes, such as dealing with, addictions, deep problems, analysis, psychology. It is deep, deep stuff. Pluto being retrograde now means all these things are going to start being dug up. But the day that it goes retrograde is so powerful. And it also means some very powerful things can be happening in the world that could be very, very difficult. So be aware of the heaviness and intensity of today, May 2nd. So May 3rd, I'm looking at the moon will be conjunct Saturn today. Now that's a heavy influence. And the moon is in the nakshatra Purva Bhadrapada. Purva Bhadrapada is said to be the man with two faces. Now that can literally mean someone that's two-faced, or it can be a man who is a visionary looking forward into the future as well as looking into the past. But it's a heavy nakshatra, especially being conjunct Saturn. As Saturn deals with karma, Saturn deals with heaviness and just this deep feeling of being responsible for things. So this is a heavy, heavy day. And people are really coming around to understanding what their mission is. But that means a lot of hard work and a lot of heaviness, and what you need to do that involves hard work and discipline. Saturn is a disciplinarian. Now the moon being in Aquarius with Saturn, this can be that there can be some deep changes and work involving changing humanity, changing the things that need to be worked on. That could be the ecology, economy, everything that needs heavy, serious look at and heavy, serious work. So it's not like a day of joy, happiness, lightheartedness. It's a day of being serious about things and getting the job done. Now Mars is even in a sextile to Pluto, so this does give us hope that the work that we do will be meaningful. So use this day for what it's good for, working hard. Okay, so May 4th, we have the moon has shifted into Pisces. And it's crossed over Neptune earlier today. And Neptune and moon can be sort of like this dreaminess where you're not being totally focused in the day. But it's a day that you may find your mind wanders, you're not totally able to concentrate, but use it just to enjoy yourself. In other words, Neptune can actually rule movies. So it's a day to take off, just, it's a Saturday Central Standard Time. It's a day to go to the movies, enjoy yourself, not spend the day with any heavy, burdensome work, because this is not what this day's for. And the moon is approaching Mars, so it's getting closer to Mars. And so the moon's wedged in between Mars and Neptune. This can be a day of great delusional illusions. So just don't take anything seriously today. Enjoy it, relax, and kick back. Watch a movie and realize that half of what you're seeing may not be clear. You can't make clear decisions today. The moon is actually nearing Mars and Rahu, so this is not a day for major decisions, but just take it easy. May 5th, this is the day that the moon will have crossed over Mars by this time, but it's almost exactly conjunct Rahu, and it is in the nakshatra Revati. Revati is the nakshatra of travels, actually, and it's a nakshatra that can deal with release and letting go, because it is the final nakshatra, the final nakshatra and sign of the zodiac. So it is time to finish up and clear out things. But with the moon being with Rahu, it's very intense. Feelings are very intense, but be aware, being in Pisces, there can be a lot of people that are playing the victim today. Don't put up with that. Just listen, but realize you're going to have a lot of people claiming, you know, that they're a victim and pointing their fingers at everyone else. Just know that it's not to their advantage to play the victim, but realize that you can't play a victim today, because Pisces is very much a part of that type of energy. But the moon with Rahu makes people off the charts emotionally. They're extremist. And yes, sometimes with the moon being here, I find it makes the stock market go crazy, makes it go up and down. It's really volatile during this time. So pay attention to all of these things. Plus, the moon today is going to come over Mercury and Rahu. And Mercury is still debilitated in Pisces. So this tells me that people are not in their right mind. And they will try to convince you of things that are wrong. Do not fall for this. Have a clear mind, even though everyone else is going to be out of their minds pretty much. And another thing, the moon coming together with Mercury actually means that people overthink things and they're constantly in their head and they can't get in touch or in reality. All right, so May 6th. The moon is in Aries today, and it's going to be in the nakshatra Ashwini. Ashwini means fast motion, moving fast. It's actually a nakshatra that deals with traveling. But the moon in Aries is a new beginning, a fresh new start, and it is approaching Venus. But it is a dark moon, because we are going to have the new moon tomorrow. But when the moon is behind the sun, it's actually called a Baslamic moon, which means it's time to be very introspective. Don't start new projects during this moon. Make sure it's after the new moon. So this is a day just to be introspective, lay low, but the moon will finally cross over Venus today, later in the day, or approach, get very close to Venus. And that's a time to be creative. So be introspective and be creative. And maybe it's a time to write some poetry, write a message or a letter to loved ones. It will be beautiful. May 7th is the new moon. This new moon will occur at 23 degrees of Aries. And Aries is the sign of new beginnings. Now, this new moon is very close to Uranus, which can mean that things are unexpected. There's all sorts of unexpected events occurring. And another thing is, you know, that the moon is still pretty close to Venus, but it's a new moon. So it is a time of creative pursuits. And it is a time that you can start making plans for the future, because now we're starting the waxing moon into the new phase of a new moon. And in Aries, it always will represent new beginnings and new starts. So this concludes the first week of May, and a lot is happening in May. And I know Mars is getting tightened up with Rahu and causing all sorts of angry disputes and wars, but I'm telling you how you can use the energy of these transiting planets in your daily life in accordance to the cycle of the moons. So with that, I think I'll close. Remember, you can always sign up for my free newsletter. Go to galacticcenter.org and you will get all of my predictions written out, delivered free to your email address. And don't forget, I'm going to be starting my new galactic planner calendar. If you want to really get all this information according to your individual chart, how it affects you, This will be phenomenal. So keep posted. Go to galacticcenter.org to see all the wonderful things I'm offering, and especially become part of my Patreon page, which is a spiritual community. You'll love it. Thank you.